I was 5 minutes into my talk, standing in front of 500 business executives at a major industry conference. I had my speech all mapped out perfectly, every chunk, every transition, every story. And then I saw it. A guy in the second row checked his watch. A woman near the aisle leaned over to whisper to her colleague. A few people in the back glanced at their phones. I was losing them. Now, it wasn't because my content was bad, and it wasn't because my delivery was off, but because I was so focused on delivering my chunk, wasn't adapting to my audience in real time. In that moment, I had a choice. I could keep going as planned and hope for the best, or I could read the room. I could shift my approach and take back control. I pivoted. I adjusted my tone. I asked a direct question. I changed my pacing, and within 30 seconds, I had them fully locked in again. And that is precisely what today's episode is all about. Welcome to the Next Stage Speaker Success Secrets podcast. I'm Lord Al Jensen, and if you've ever stood in front of an audience and felt the energy shift, if you've ever seen people zone out, check their phones, or mentally check out mid-speech, you are not alone. The truth is, even the best prepared speech can fall flat if you don't know how to read the room and adjust in real time. I've given more than 7,500 stage presentations since 1974, and here's what I learned. Speakers who can't read the room, they risk losing their audience. Speakers who can't adapt struggle when things don't go as planned. Speakers who master adaptability can captivate any audience in any setting every single time. And that is exactly what you're going to learn today. By the end of this episode, you will know the biggest mistake that speakers make when trying to engage an audience and how to fix it. You'll know the subtle cues that tell you when your audience is tuned in or tuning out. You'll know a simple system for making real-time adjustments without breaking your flow. And if you stick around to the end, I've got something special for you, a proven step-by-step system that makes audience adaptability effortless. Let's get started here. Most speakers assume that if their content is strong, their audience will stay engaged. They believe that if they've practiced enough, their talk will land exactly as planned. They think that if their delivery is polished, people will automatically stay locked in. And that's where they are dead wrong. The truth is, your speech is never truly finished until you're delivering it in front of a real live audience. The biggest mistake that speakers make? They deliver a rigid, pre-planned speech without adapting to what's actually happening in the room. They stick to their script even when the audience energy drops. They ignore audience cues that are practically screaming for a shift, and they power through their points without realizing that they've already lost more than half the room. The result? Well, a forgettable speech, a disengaged audience, and a lost opportunity to make an impact. So, how do you avoid this mistake? You learn to read the room and adjust in real time. Reading the room is about understanding your audience's energy and engagement level in real time and knowing exactly how to adjust your speech accordingly. There are 3 key layers of audience feedback that you need to pay attention to. First, nonverbal cues, the body language, posture, and facial expressions. The micro-engagement actions, small behaviors that signal interest or disinterest. And energy shifts, the subtle changes in the room's overall vibe. Let's break these down. Number 1, nonverbal cues, what their body language tells you. Your audience communicates more with their bodies than their words, and when they're engaged, they will lean in. They will nod or react naturally. They will maintain consistent eye contact. When they are disengaged, you'll see them slouching or leaning away. You'll see crossed arms, which is like a defensive posture. You'll see eyes drifting, scanning the room, or maybe even looking at their phones. What to do if you see disengagement? You'll need to shift your position on stage to recapture their attention. You can adjust your tone or pacing. Sometimes a simple pause can snap them right back. Call out the energy shift. A quick, lighthearted comment can reset the room. And then there's micro-engagement actions, the subtle signs of attention or disinterest. Sometimes disengagement isn't always obvious. People won't always check their phones or cross their arms, but they will give subtle signs that their minds are drifting. Some positive engagement signs include slight smiles or silent reactions to your words. Positive engagement signs will maybe be quick glances towards others as if saying, "Did you hear that?" Or maybe a physical shift forward, signaling curiosity. Negative engagement signs include restless movement like tapping of their feet, shifting uncontrollably, repetitive glancing at the clock or the door, silent, unreadable expressions, or what I like to call the dreaded dead stare. So if you see this happening, ask an audience-directed question to jolt them back into active listening. Increase your energy output. Sometimes they mirror your enthusiasm. Make your next sentence unexpected. Surprise them with some humor, a bold statement, or perhaps a direct challenge. Then there's energy shifts, how to detect and adjust when the room feels off. A great speaker feels the room. Have you ever walked into a talk where the energy just felt flat? Or maybe the audience started off strong, but somewhere around the middle, you felt them pulling back? That is an energy shift. When the energy is high, people laugh more easily. They lean in and respond naturally. When the energy drops, reactions slow, movement stops, and the room just feels stiff. What causes an energy drop? Well, sometimes too much information without a break or a shift in tone. Sometimes lack of audience interaction. They feel like passive listeners and not participants. Sometimes it's monotone pacing, no variation in speed or vocal intensity. How can you fix it? Well, you can change your pacing. You can slow down and then speed up to create contrast. You can insert a quick engagement hook. Question, raise your hand if you've done this before, moment, or maybe even a bold statement. You could use strategic silence. Sometimes a well-timed pause creates a powerful shift in attention. Now that you understand how to read your audience, the next step is learning how to adjust without losing your flow. Next, I'm going to walk you through what to do when you notice an energy drop without panicking. Also, the 5-second rule for regaining audience attention fast, and how to pivot your content without sounding unprepared. And if you've ever had your talk length suddenly cut in half, you're going to love this next part because I'll show you exactly how to shrink your speech on the fly while keeping maximum impact. So now you know how to read the room. But what happens when you realize that you're losing your audience? Listen, it happens to every speaker, no matter how good they are. The difference between an average speaker and a high-impact speaker is how they respond in that moment. Most speakers make one of these 3 mistakes. They panic and start rushing through their speech. Or they ignore the problem, stick to their script, hoping that it'll get better. Or sometimes they will overcompensate by forcing energy, making everything feel just unnatural. A great speaker notices the shift, makes an adjustment, and takes back control. So let's talk about how to regain your audience's attention fast. One of the easiest ways to bring your audience back into focus is what I like to call the 5-second rule. It's a simple and powerful technique. Step number 1, pause. If you feel the room slipping, stop talking. Silence is powerful. When you pause, people instinctively look up. It disrupts their distraction cycle and signals that something is about to happen. Step 2, break the pattern. To snap them back, change something. If you've been speaking at a steady pace, slow it down dramatically. If your voice has been low and steady, suddenly lift your tone and lift your energy. And if you've been standing still, move with purpose to another spot. This shift grabs their attention and forces them to re-engage. Step 3, re-engage them with a hook. Immediately follow your shift with a pattern-interrupting statement. Maybe ask a direct question. Let me ask you something. Or make a bold statement. Most people get this completely wrong. Or introduce surprise. What I'm about to tell you changes everything. Now their focus is back on you. Reading the room isn't just about fixing engagement dips. It's about knowing how to pivot your talk in real time as necessary. Maybe the audience is more advanced than you expected. Maybe they're just bored with the basics and they need deeper content. Maybe they're engaging more than expected and you need to make room for interaction. Here's how to adjust your talk on the fly without losing flow. I call it the 3-step adaptation formula. Number 1, assess. Take a moment to evaluate what's happening. Are they disengaging? You need a reset hook. Are they highly engaged? Lean into interaction. Do they seem lost? Well, simplify your message. The second one, adjust. Shift one key element to realign with your audience. Change your pacing, speed it up or slow it down. Modify your depth level. Go simpler if needed, or maybe even more advanced. Increase interaction, bringing them back into the conversation. And then anchor. Reinforce your adjustment with a strong transition so it feels seamless. Example, here's why this matters. Or, let's break this down even further. Or, now, let's make this practical. So instead of feeling like you're off track, your audience feels like you're guiding them exactly where they need to go. Every speaker eventually faces this scenario. You're backstage. The event planner rushes up and says, "We're behind schedule. Can you cut your talk from 45 minutes to 20?" Most speakers would panic. They cram everything in, speaking faster to fit it all in. They skip key points, leaving their speech feeling incomplete. But not you, because you are going to use the time flexibility formula. This is how you shorten or expand your speech on the fly without losing impact. Step 1, identify your core chunks. Your speech is built on structured content chunks from the chunk method that we discussed in a previous episode. When your time gets cut, you don't squeeze everything in, you just deliver fewer chunks. Step 2, prioritize high impact chunks. If you've got to cut your speech in half, keep the most valuable, the most relevant, and the most engaging chunks. Keep your strongest opening because first impressions matter. Drop any secondary points that aren't totally essential. Maintain a powerful closing because people remember how you finish. In step 3, use seamless transitions. Once you decide what to cut, don't let your audience feel the change. Now your speech feels polished and intentional, not rushed. And if the opposite happens, if your time is expanded, you simply add in additional chunks or deepen engagement with the audience. That's what separates average speakers from truly unforgettable speakers. You now know how to read the room, how to adjust in real time, and keep your audience engaged no matter what happens. You've learned how to detect audience disengagement early before you lose them. You've learned the 5-second rule to instantly regain attention. You've learned how to pivot your talk without looking unprepared. And you've learned the time flexibility formula for adjusting speech length effortlessly. This is how you go from being a scripted, rigid speaker to being a truly dynamic, adaptable communicator. Now that we've covered how to read the room and adjust your talk, the final step is making this process effortless for you. You can have the best content, you can have the best delivery and the best stage presence. But if you can't read the room and adjust in real time, none of that really matters. Because engagement is not automatic. You have to create it, you have to sustain it, and you have to regain it when it starts to slip. Today, you've learned how to recognize the moment when audience engagement drops before you lose them completely. You've learned the 5-second rule for regaining attention instantly. You've learned the adaptation formula for pivoting your speech in real time and the flexibility formula for adjusting speech length without stress. That's the difference between being a forgettable speaker and a speaker who gets booked again and again. But knowing these strategies isn't enough. You have to be able to apply them on the spot without second-guessing yourself. And that's exactly why I created the Next Stage Audience Engagement Formula. Here's what you'll get in this mini course. It's a step-by-step system designed to make real-time audience engagement effortless. You'll get the audience cue decoder, instantly being able to recognize whether your audience is engaged, disengaged, or maybe somewhere in between. The instant re-engagement guide, the fastest ways to grab attention back when you feel the energy slipping. You'll get the time flexibility framework, how to cut your speech in half or expand it on the fly without losing impact. You'll get the adaptive speaker's toolbox, a quick reference guide so you always know exactly what to do in the moment. You'll also get AI-powered engagement prompts. You'll leverage AI to craft audience hooks, pivots, and interaction strategies effortlessly. Plus, I'm throwing in 2 very powerful bonuses. The Engagement Reset Cheat Sheet. It's a printable quick reference guide that you can review before your talk. So when you walk on stage, you'll be fully prepared to adapt in real time. And bonus number 2, the interactive speaker prompts, a set of pre-designed audience engagement strategies that'll fit any speech, helping you keep your audience locked in from start to finish. And because you're listening to this podcast, you can grab everything for just $37, a fraction of what most speaker training programs charge. So click the link in the show notes and start commanding any audience with confidence. So that's it for today's episode of the Next Stage Speaker Success Secrets podcast. If you found this valuable, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow speaker. And remember, your message matters. Keep speaking, keep inspiring, keep transforming audiences, and I cannot wait to see you on the next stage.